Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Crafting with Christina. Today we're making what I'm calling an essential masked critter card. Isn't that cute? Tell me you wouldn't love getting something like that in the mail. Or even I thought it was just kind of a neat idea if you have kids out there and you're sending a card to one of your teachers. I thought this was just kind of a quick, easy card to put together, whether or not it's going to a friend, a family, or even a teacher. So I'm going to show you how we're going to put this together today. So what we're using today it's from Lawn Fawn. So it's a stamp and die combo, and it's called Say What. I wrote it on here just because you can't really read this writing very well. So it's called Say What? Masked Critters. So it's really cute. It has a cat, a bunny, and a frog, and all these little guys have masks on them. And then it also comes with a little thought bubble, and all these sayings fit inside of them. I'm going to read just in case there's too much of a glare on it. So it says, sending smiles with my eyes. I can't mask my love for you. You are essential to me. Sending air hugs, and thank you so much. And then they also have some other great sentiments. That's what I was showing you on here. It says, you are essential. And then you can write to me or to us. And then there's a thanks, and there's a cute little heart and stuff that goes on with this as well. So we're using that stamp and die. And because we're doing the mini slim, I'm also going to be using, this one's from Tailored Expressions. It's called the Mini Slim Square Window Die. I know they also have a circle one. So if you have a circle one, by all means, go for it. So this is actually a little bit smaller. See, when we cut this out, it's a little bit smaller. It's a a quarter inch smaller than the actual size of your finished card. So that's why I have this green paper behind it. So that's actually your finished card. This one's a little bit smaller. So again, that's the Mini Slim Square Window Die from Tailored Expressions. The other thing you're going to need is score tape or liquid glue just to put everything together. You're going to need 110-pound Neenah white cardstock. That's what we use for card bases. It's really nice and thick, and it's great because then your cards stand up nice. They're fantastic. You're also going to need 80-pound Neenah solar white cardstock. That's what I just used to cut this die out here. Hammer mill paper, that's what I use when I do all my Copic coloring. And I know there's different papers and stuff out there, but my personal favorite is hammer mill. I have never had any issues with any bleeding, anything. So hammer mill paper is what I use all the time. And all three of these types of papers you can buy at Two Scrapbook Friends. No problem at all. You're also going to need green cardstock if you're choosing to do green like what I did here. I just did it just to make the frog stand out a little bit more. You're going to need some Copic friendly black ink if you're using alcohol markers. I use the Lawn Fawn Jet Black all the time. And then for doing the sentiments on here, I use the Lawn Fawn Jalapeno. That's the ones I use. I thought it matched with my paper nice, but if you have something else you're using a different color, by all means. Copics that I'm using today. So for the frog here, I'm using GO7 and GO3. And then for the cat, I'm using N1 and N3. But I also realized I did the, I should grab that as well. I forgot to mention that on there because I was just looking at it. I forgot for the masks because I thought there's so many, everybody's wearing those blue masks right now. So I use the BOO to fill in the mask. I forgot to write that on there, but anyways, that's the other color you're going to need. Misty tool to do your stamping, and your die cut machine. I use my Gemini Junior, and then foam square so you can kind of make these guys stand out a little bit more. So this is your list of stuff you need, and let's get started. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way for now, and then we can get going. Don't need this. I'll put this off to the side here. So first things first, you're going to need to grab your 110-pound Neenah cardstock, and you're going to need to cut this down. Again, because we're using a mini slim, you need to cut this down to... Oh yeah, my little one's not going to work because I need to have the piece that comes out on it. Let's grab my big one here, and hopefully I'm going to put it off to an angle so you can see it better. You're going to need this part out here. Because what we need to do is we need to do this 6 inches by 7, because it's 6 by 3.5 and you're going to fold it in half. So you're going to go 6 inches by 7 inches. And then you can score it down at 3.5 And then at least you know exactly where the center of your card is. So that's how we're going to start this. Move this aside here. Okay, now you already have your score line. So now you're just going to fold your paper, grab your bone folder, and you're just going to go up and down it. So now you've got your card base here that is 3.5 by 6. So you can put that off to the side for a minute. But now I would grab your green paper, and we may as well start putting some of this stuff together here now that we have it. So now you're going to cut out your green paper the size of the card. So you're going to go 3.5. 3.5 here by 6. So now you're going to grab your 6 inches and cut it down. So now you can put your green paper aside because you don't need that anymore. And now you can grab your score tape or whatever you are using for on here. I always use score tape. I like it. It's my favorite because then at least I know my cards will never, ever, ever be ruined. They will never come off because score tape it's a forever thing. Okay. So now you're going to grab, and again, I love using my tweezers. They are so nice and sharp. You can use fingernails if you have fingernails. My nails are all a disaster right now, so tweezers, and doesn't matter. Even if I have fingernails, I still use the tweezers. So now, again, when I put it, I like to just kind of push this down to the top of the card here, just so that I know I'm right on the edge. Oops. And then you still have a little bit of wiggle room here. So then I like to make sure I'm right down to the bottom of the card here. Push this down, push it over, and now you've got your green on your card base here. Okay, so next thing you're going to want to do is grab your a piece of 80-pound Nina Solar White cardstock. And now you're also going to grab your die. So, and then you're going to, whether or not you use a Big Shot or whatever you're using, I use the Gemini. I'm going to pull this on screen here for a second. I know it's big, so you're not going to be able to see it all, but I use the Gemini Junior. So again, I have my bottom plate, my plastic shim, I have my magnet board, and I'm going to flip my die up so that it doesn't move anywhere because now it's stuck to my magnet board. And make sure if you're using the Gemini Junior that you have your pieces that are going to cut up and not down. You don't want it to cut into your magnet sheet. Now you're just going to put your piece of 80-pound Nina through there. And this is why I have a Gemini, because I don't have to hand crank anything. He's going to catch it when it comes out the back. Put this off to the side for a moment. And we're going to open this up here. And now you've got your... Don't get rid of these pieces. Well, you only need one of them, but you are going to come back to this. And then if you, sometimes they stick, so just grab a pointy tool and you can just take it right out. Now you've got this piece. So before we do anything else, we're actually going to grab your Misty and we are going to stamp our sentiments. So your Misty tool or whatever stamping tool you've got. Okay, so I'm just going to put this down here, put this down the center, and always push it into the corner because then at least, you know, once you're flipping things up, if your paper moves, you always know you're going to come back to that corner piece. So I'm going to do same with what we did in the card here where it says you are essential to me. So I'm going to grab the you are essential and I'm going to center that here and then grab to me. I really like this sentiment. It's nice to be essential to somebody. Okay, now you're going to push that down. You're going to pick it up and then you're going to stamp it up with your green ink if you're choosing to use green, of course. And it's stamped pretty well, but I am going to do it one more time just to make sure it's nice and vibrant and green. And then I'm going to grab my chamois here And I'm just going to clean off my stamps and put them back away. Okay, so now we actually have this piece done. We're going to come back to the Misty in a moment. But since you already have this piece here, we may as well grab your score tape. Whoops. And put that down. Normally I would use score tape along here as well too, but I don't have my super thin stuff. I just realized I ran out of it. So I'm just gonna take this score tape off for now. And then I am just gonna grab my, my Lawn Fawn glue tube and just put it a little bit down the edge here, 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 and at the top. I'll put it down the sides just so those squares don't flip up as well. So make sure you know which way your card is opening because you don't want to put it on upside down. And then all you're going to do is you are going to center this white piece now on top of your background. Now, this is why I'm saying don't throw out these pieces, because I did not want to put the green frog on top of the green because I thought that he would fade into the background. So all I did was I took the center piece that I took out of here, just throw some glue on it, and then stick this back in so it fits right back into there. So now you're finished with this. Now we need to just stamp our little critters out. So you're going to grab a piece of hammer mill, and we're going to grab the Misty again. Okay, move this off to the side here. So we're going to grab the cat. We are going to grab the frog, and then we're going to stamp out the little speech bubble. And I'm going to stamp everything in. Move this back into the corner again because my paper just moved a tiny little bit. Sometimes the stamps are a little, when they're newer, they're very sticky, so they stick to your paper. So that's why if you always put it back down to the corner, even once you stamp it, if you need to restamp again and the paper's moved, then you don't need to worry about it, because shove it right back down in the corner and it will always be in the same spot. Okay, so I'm going to move my black ink. So now we're just going to take the chamois and we're just going to clean these off. Sorry if I'm shaking stuff. Okay, kitty cat gone. Frog. Now you're going to choose whatever whatever sentiment you want to put into your little speech bubble there. So I'm doing the sending air hugs. Again, you can change it up. Sending smiles with my eyes. I think that's so cute too. And you know what? Let's just do that one because I already have the sending air hug, so you can see what that looks like. Let's do, oops, that's not the one I wanted. Let's do sending smiles with my eyes, just so you can see how this one fits inside the speech bubble as well. Okay, so he just fits right in the center there. Again, move your paper back over. And if you choose, you can do this in green. I just did it in black, but again, if you want to do this in the green, you absolutely can, just to give it that, use more of that green again. Okay. Now that is done. Clean that off with my chamois. And then put this away. So now we can take and move our Misty out of the way. Now we're going to grab our Copics. So let's go with the cat first. So as I said earlier, and with the cat, I used N3 and N1. So I just did a little bit of shading. You can color the whole cat in one color if you want, but all I'm doing is just kind of going around the side of his face, a little bit underneath in here and in his legs, and just a little bit along the bottom of the tail. I'll hold this up as well, just because that's kind of, if the light's kind of shining down, that's where the dark edges would be. You're done with that. Now you're going to grab your N1, And all you're going to do is just color over the rest. I like to color over the pieces that I already did just so that it blends in really nice. So you're going to color over the end 3, and then you're just going to fill in the rest of the cat, except for the mask. Okay? So now he's filled in, and then now you're just going to grab your B00, and you're just going to color the mask in with a nice light blue. So this is what the cat looks like when it's done. Now you're going to do the frog. And the frog, you're going to go G07 and G03. Now this one's a little bit darker, and I know I've said this in many times. If it's a new marker or if it's a darker color, I would recommend taking both ends off so that it breathes. Nothing's worse than having your lid on. You start doing your coloring and it just blobs out the end. You shouldn't have a problem with it, but just in case, then at least you know. This way you're for sure safe. I do it with all my dark colors and anything that's brand new. So I'm just going to go in here and here, right around the kind of the back edges of the legs. I'll hold this up in a minute. And then maybe around just this part here. So I'll hold this up so you can see where I did. So again, this is the G07. And I just did kind of shading, thinking that the light is coming up from the top. And that's what would all be shaded. And now I'm going to take my G03. And this color isn't too dark. And I've also had this for a long time. So I'm not worried about taking the other lid off, but you can. I just know this is an old color, so it should be fine. And then I'm just coloring in, going over top of the G07 that I did so that it blends really nice, and then just coloring the rest of it in. And now you're going to grab your B00 and color in the mask. So that's all there is to it. Now all you're going to do is grab your matching die cuts. I'm going to take these out, so I don't need I'll just take everything out of here for now. I don't need the heart, so I'm just going to put this back because I don't want to lose my pieces. I need the speech bubble, I need the cat, the frog, not the bunny. So let's put those guys away. And then I always like to hold my things down with purple tape, just so that when I'm putting things through, especially since you've already colored them all, you don't want to have to redo it. So I just like to hold my dies down just to be safe with purple tape. Okay, so let's hold these guys down here. Put the speech bubble down here. Now you're going to go back and grab whatever die cutting machine you're using. Again, I'm using my Gemini, so same thing as before, the same sandwich. And again, once I have these guys here, I'll flip them down. Now they're on the magnet sheet, but they're not going to cut through the magnet sheet. Now I'm going to grab my Gemini back on here. And as if you can see my plates, you can see they're very well loved. And just so you know, if you're new to the Gemini, do you hear all that cracking? That is 100% normal. It's just basically cracking. It's not breaking anything, but it just cracks when it goes through them. So do not be afraid if you're new to this machine. And it doesn't crack all that much anymore, but when these things were first, and they do start to warp, so just know, I like to, every other time I flip mine, just so that they stay a little bit more straight. Okay, so let's take them apart. So now we've got your purple tape off here. We've got this piece. Let's get your frog off here. And I like to be just nice and careful with mine so that it doesn't rip any of the paper. Purple tape's pretty good, but if you do it really fast, and sometimes I'll reuse mine like 4 or 5 times, and then it'll actually, after a while, start ripping my paper. So you just nicely, carefully take them off. We'll put these off to the side here. So now you've got your 3 little pieces left. So all that's left is to put foam tape on them. Okay, so we'll start with the cat. I'm using the big foam squares, but if you have small ones or you want to use, cut up your tape, your foam tape, that's fine too. Put this little guy off to the side. Center him in here. And then your frog is next. Put your little froggy in your little white window. And then your speech bubble. And I like the idea of having this so he looks like he's singing and putting this on an angle. I just thought that looked kind of cute. And there you go. Now you've got yourself the cutest little sending smiles with my eyes, or whatever sentiment you put in there. You've got yourself just a nice little card to send to somebody to say that you feel that they are essential to you. So anyways, hope you guys had a lot of fun creating, and we'll see you next time. Bye.